These are the locations for all 24 pieces of intel on Shattered Vale in Black Ops 6 Zombies. This includes all of the audio logs, documents, and artifacts. And I'll also have a link in the description to all of the intel, the raw audio logs, documents, artifacts, if you just want to be filled in on all of the story stuff. But I assume you want to collect them yourself if you are watching this video. So let's get into it. First of all, for bodily harm, it can be found by PhD on the tac map you can see on screen, and if you come over into the nursery, it's right in front of this piano that you can go ahead and interact with here. Moving along, we have prime time that can be found in the Pack-a-Punch room in the SAM room, just in front of these chairs here on these monitor devices, so collect that one there. Furthermore, we have the location for Spectre, which can be found at the top of the map. Come past double tap and it's inside the kitchen, right here in the corner. Collect that there. We now have particulars that can be found in the service tunnel on top of these oil barrels, so you can get that one here. Swiftly along, we now have the obstacles intel, which can be found in the conservatory right in front of this computer screen that you can grab right there. In addition, we have a way in, which can be found by Shem's Hens right here. Come by Speed Cola by the canister holder, and it's to the left on this bench, so you can grab that one there. Next, we have Within Reach that can be found in the grand foyer in the mansion itself. If you come up the stairs, you will find it just on top of this box next to the fire extinguisher, so you can grab that there. Panos is back with cracking eggheads. This can be found in the motor court if you come by the crashed tipped truck. It can be found behind these sandbags right here, so collect that one there. We now have Shadow Benefactor, which can be found in the garden pond. If you come underneath the bridge, just like the troll you are, you can collect it right here from the corner. Continuing, we have a Shem's Volley, which can be found in the library if you head upstairs, and it's found next to this box on this cabinet in front of the zombie barrier, so grab that one there. For Thesis Statement, it can be found on the west balcony in front of the tree on the circular wall encasing it, so you can grab that there. Connecting to Modern Warfare Zombies, we have Serpent Mound. This can be found if you head into the supply depot and then go into the armory, of course where you get the Mark II, and it can be found before all of these pieces of equipment, just down here on the footrest, so you can grab that one there. Moving along, we now have the documents. Regretfully Yours can be found just in front of where Elemental Pop is. If you come into the study, there is a bookshelf here, and you can collect it from the top shelf right over here. Grab that one there. We now have My Warheads, those goddamn warheads. This can be found in the garden pond once again, and in order to get this one, you need to break open this wooden plank, and luckily the game spawns in a tomahawk right next to it, so you can collect that and throw it at it to go ahead and grab. You can also just get a combat axe another way or have it on your loadout. Furthermore, we have the Monstrous Proposal piece of intel, and you get this for doing the sleepwalking side Easter egg, which you can also get a bunch of loot from, so this is how you do this Easter egg. So in order to do this, the first thing you need to do is you need to progress onto round 11. You cannot do it any earlier than this. Once you are on round 11, head to the study and interact with this grandfather clock. And you can only do this on round 11 specifically, and you now need to progress to round 12, and you must be lying inside of Richtofen's bed as the round is transitioning. So be here ahead of time. I guess you can survive the whole round in the bed if you want, but come and lie down in the bed, and as the round changes from 11 to 12, a little bit into the start of the round, the screen will then fade to black after you've been sat here for a little bit, and then you'll come back into the game. You have fallen asleep. Maya gives a line here saying, whose bed is this? It is Richtofen's bed, because obviously it's the director's quarters from the Liberty Falls intro cutscene, and the game will then give you a path that you need to follow. Now, you must crouch walk as you are doing this. You shouldn't run at all, and you just need to walk slowly, as there's going to be all of these zombies that are asleep that you essentially just need to traverse through carefully without waking them up. So don't bump into them, don't disturb them. There's footprints on the ground guiding you where you need to go, and all of the zombies' eyes will be purple. And right at the end of the path, there is a chest here. However, you won't be able to open it as it is locked, and in order to gain access to it, you just need to look through all of the zombies that you have come through, as all of them but one just have white Z's coming out of their heads. But there's going to be one that's different, and instead, one zombie is going to have different colored Z's coming out of their head instead of just the regular white ones. So you know this is the one to target. So for example, in this game, I found it within the study, an armored zombie right here, and once you've managed to successfully locate the right zombie, you can come up to it and you just simply need to kill it, after which it'll drop a key that you can pick up, and of course this is the key for the crate. So come back over to the crate from the end of the walk, and then then you can collect all of your loot as well as the piece of intel when you do this for the very first time. And this is a reference to 10, 11, 12, the intel from Sam describing the day Weaver and her contributed to Richtofen's family's deaths. Most likely Richtofen was lying in bed during these hours, the time the hit happened. He woke up in time though to fight off Weaver, but his family were in another room upstairs probably, and ended up getting burnt in the crossfire. Hopefully this guide has been useful. That's all of the documents out of the way. We now have the artifacts. So the first one is Richtofen's not safe for work DVDs rentals, which can be found obviously in his bedroom in the director's quarters. If you come into his bed, it can be found right there. This dude's just fapping all day, lonely since his family went. The next artifact is of course the Raygun Mark II, and you can get this by doing the free Raygun Mark II side Easter egg within the armory. This is the only way you get it. You don't get this artifact from getting it from the mystery box. So this is how you get the free Mark II. So the first thing you need to do is repair the elevator that the game guides you towards to get down to the Sam room by where Pack-a-Punch is. There's a guide in the description if for some reason you need one. Now that you're in the mainframe area, if you make your way to round 10, there'll be a technician zombie that will spawn in, and when you kill it, it will drop a floppy disk that you need to pick up. After which, make your way over to the east foyer, and there's some computers here that you can interact with. And it will begin printing out a Project Janus message. During this, you're going to have a little bit of a lockdown here. You won't be trapped in, but there'll be vermin and parasites that will start spawning in, so be wary of them, and simply survive whilst it is printing. Once it's done printing, you are then able to interact with it, and it'll display a message, and this message is from Blanchard, of which there'll be a 4-letter word in it that is all in capitals. It won't be the same every single game, however in this game in particular it's spelled worm. So write down whatever word it is, or take a screenshot, or have a friend remember it for you. Whatever the case may be, you need to remember it. After you've remembered the word, you need to head over to the nursery where you'll see a blackboard here, and on the blackboard is going to be a bit of a puzzle that you need to work out, as you need to get a number code derived from the word. So on the blackboard there's all of these different clusters of different letters, and essentially what you need to do is locate each different letter in order of the word and note down how many letters are in the cluster to be able to get the sequence. So for the first character we have a W, and it's in a collection of 7 characters, so that's the first number. The second letter is O, which is in a group of 6 letters, so that's the second number. R is then in a cluster of 7 letters, so that's the third number. And fourth and finally, M is just there alone, so it's just 1. So the code in my game was 7671, but like I said, it's going to be different every single game. You might have a different word, or if you still have worm, it might be in a different set of clusters. After you've worked out the code, write it down somewhere, or again, remember it, or have a friend remember it for you. Whatever the case may be, you need to remember this code. After which, head over to the service tunnel, and you'll see that there's a doppelgas behind this locked room, and it's just trapped within, which is quite funny. You can then go over to the number pad and input a code, so input the numbers you worked out. Like I said, in this case it's 7671, but it'll likely be different for you. After which the door will begin opening, there'll be a bunch of ghast, and you just need to kill this doppelgast, after which it'll drop his severed arm, which you can press square X or F to pick up. Now if you then head to the back of the service tunnel, come through to the supply depot where there is the armory, and you can enter the armory, and you've probably already entered here and seen the Raygun Mark II in the back here and not really known how to get it. Well, this is how you get it. Now you can go in and go ahead and grab yourself the Raygun Mark II. It's the standard version, the good old trusty Mark II. I'm so glad that it's back, and I can't wait for it to be added to the other maps as well. In this video's description I will have guides for all 3 of the different Mark II variants. This one's epic. We now have the Z-Rex Tooth, and this can obviously be done for defeating the Z-Rex, the final boss fight for the main quest. If you don't know how to do the main quest, I will have a guide linked in the description once it is live. You don't need to pick anything up, you'll just obtain it automatically as soon as it's defeated. Speaking of the main quest for the hip flask, you once again need to do the main Easter egg, so obviously you're going to have to do it for the tooth anyways, and you get this from the overlook right here in the bar during the main quest. Again, I'll have that linked in the description for you. There's another one you need to do the main quest, which is the nuclear inspection that can be found in the library in this secret room, saying inspection failed, which is about Janus Towers DLC 4, the nuclear power plant, so you can grab that there. There's another one you need to do the main quest for, which is the antler carvings that can be found in the safe. This is the horn for the sentinel artifact that we learned about, obviously, on the tomb. You can grab that there. In addition, we have the deed of sale intel, and in order to do this, you need to do the jump scare side Easter egg, where you can get a bunch of awesome loot as well in this cabinet, but obviously you get the intel as well. So this is how you actually do this Easter egg. First of all, you need to have the thermal scope on any weapon in the game. Obviously, it's the easiest if you apply it to your loadout, but it's not necessary. After which, you need to simply progress in your game, I believe to round 13, and you simply need to be on the lookout for some blinking red eyes in one of these windows. After which, simply scope in to look at it, and there'll be a creepy entity, and when you look at it with a thermal scope, it'll disappear, and it'll spawn in another location. After 20-30 seconds or so later, so just keep training the zombies around this area and be on the lookout for its location. Keep checking all of the windows, so keep looking around, and eventually you will locate it again. Once again, when you look at it with the thermal scope, it'll disappear. You then need to repeat this for a third time, so just wait for it to spawn in once again and keep waiting around until you manage to locate it again. Once you do, obviously just look at it again with the thermal scope and it'll disappear. And penultimately, you need to do this again for a fourth time, but this is going to be the last time it's going to be random. So once again, just keep waiting until it spawns in again, and once it does, look at it with the thermal scope and it will disappear. So finally, for the fifth time, the woman is now always going to spawn in these windows above the balcony. So come over and look at her again, and after which she will disappear for the last time. Now finally, after that, you can run inside the nursery into the mansion itself and come over to this mirror by the bed and interact with the mirror, and you'll get jump scared by this creepy woman that I guess was the woman that was in the windows that we were chasing down. I don't know who this creepy girl is. It kind of looks like a child with sharp teeth. But anyways, after you've done this, you can then interact to open up the drawers to get your loot. It'll say open to get your rewards from the antique mirror. This woman, I feel, has to be significant to the lore. I don't know if it's meant to be Richtofen's wife or something, or who. Anyways, after you open it up, you can get all of your loot, and you can get the deed of sale intel that I mentioned before. In this case, I drink quick revive. Penultimately, we have the unwelcome guest intel, which you can see on the tac map on screen. It can be found in the service tunnel, and you need to have a Semtex, so either have it on your loadout, get one from a zombie or loot, or craft it, and you just need to throw it in the back of this truck here, and it'll explode, giving you the document on the ground that you can then collect. And finally, we have the family portrait, drawn by Richtofen's son himself about the time his family died thanks to Weaver, and this can be found if you come through the southwest balcony into the nursery, and you can go ahead and collect that there. Anyways, that's all of the intel for Shattered Vale. I have guides on the other maps as well that I'll leave a link to in the description if you still need any help with the prior maps. Plenty more videos to come. I hope this has helped. Bye.